Season 2, Episode 6, you're listening to FOMO's a MOFO, a video game collecting podcast. Coming up on today's episode, Switch 2 pre-orders open and chaos ensues, Fatal Fury's guest characters cause a backlash, and EA's new skate game only grinds online. Welcome to FOMO's a MOFO, a video game collecting podcast. I am your host, BlueSwim, and we are streaming on patreon.com/BlueSwim, the home of all of my audio, video, and written content, as well as on all major podcast providers like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more. Basic membership to the Patreon is free, so subscribe now and get early access to all of my videos and podcasts before they go live on other platforms. So we are going to jump right into pickups and impressions. And first up this week, I have the Lunar Remastered Collection for the NintendoSwitch. In spite of what it says on the outline about it being for the Vita, it is not for the Vita. Don't know how that ended up there. Okay, maybe I have an idea, and it's the second thing I picked up. But basically, this is the remastered collection of the first two Lunar games from, like, the PS1, I think the Sega CD. And they have new translations, I believe. Maybe new voice work, too. It's been a while since I played the Vita release. I'm assuming it would have new voice work if they're doing a new translation for it as well, instead of using the Working Designs one. But I put about an hour and a half into it, and I'm starting with the first game. I haven't done anything with the second yet, because I never finished the first one on the PSP, and I mean I got most of the way through it. I just don't know why I never got around to actually finishing it up. But, so yeah, I've been messing around with that, and one neat feature is that when you're on the main menu, you have two options to choose from for each game. You have a classic version, I think it's called classic, and then you have the remastered version. And, you know, that the remastered version, it gives you the full 16:9 aspect ratio and stuff like that. The classic version is basically the game as you mostly remember it, aside from the different translations and stuff like that. The intro videos, they are as grainy and pixelated in the classic version as they would be on the PlayStation 1, so it's nothing if not faithful. Remastered version looks a lot better. And basically, you know, the save file works on both versions of the game. So if you start something in classic, like I did, you can pick it up in remastered, which I also did. And I'm still in the first dungeon. Yeah, maybe it's just me, but I keep getting turned around in that first dungeon. It's just, I can't quite figure out where I'm supposed to go to progress, and the layout is kind of like really samey, and it's easy to kind of get lost in it. But overall, it seems like it's going to be a solid port of two games that definitely needed to be re-released because they are fucking expensive now. I don't even know what the PSP version is going for. I haven't checked that in a while. Let me see here. I got my Game Eye app. And let's see. Go over to report. And where's my PSP? There it is. Let's see. Lunar Silver Star Harmony is only going for, what, about $48 now? Something like that? About $48 complete. Not as bad as I was expecting, to be honest. But still, I mean, you know, the collection is definitely the way to go with it, since you get, you know, games 1 and 2. It's kind of unusual because this one didn't have a pre-order window for it. This has basically just been, was it Gun Ho Entertainment or something like that, going straight through Amazon. No pre-orders, no nothing, just it's live on launch day. Get it if you can. And if you can't, well, you're going to have to wait for a restock, which is apparently going to be pretty plentiful. They're going to keep restocking it until demand is met. I don't know how anything with like the tariffs are going to play into it, but apparently there is another restock on the way already because the PS4 and Switch versions sold out. Big surprise. This is available on Xbox as well. That's kind of surprising, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, if you never played Lunar, definitely worth picking it up. It's one of those like kind of cult classic, iconic. If you grew up in that era, odds are you saw the cover arts for one or both of the games, so you know the name, or you heard about the crazy, decades ahead of its time special editions that both of the games got. And actually, come to think of it, it's like I ended up getting several of the pieces to the special edition for, I think it's Lunar 2, but I could be wrong. And I found the pendant at a yard sale, soundtrack CD, and the game itself at a used media store, all within the same week. And it just blew my mind. It's like I don't know what the odds are of that happening, but but yeah, that's like one of my craziest pickup stories that I can conjure up off the top of my head. Is, yeah, I mean, it's just finding the soundtrack CD, and I can't remember if it had like a bonus like a behind the scenes disc with it as well. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but finding the CD, the pendant, and the game itself all within the same week in two completely different places is just mind-boggling. But yeah, I mean, basically that's it for my impressions of Lunar Remastered. Like I said, I'm only about an hour and a half into it, and I'm still stumbling and fumbling my way around the first dungeon. But it should be good. Yeah, definitely worth picking up, especially given how these games have been so rare and so expensive for so long. Definitely worth checking out if you can. But moving on, my second pickup, and this is where the Vita portion I mentioned earlier comes from. I just today snagged EDF 2, Earth Defense Force 2, Invaders from Planet Space. That has got to be one of my favorite game subtitles of all time. So this is basically a port of, as it obviously says, EDF 2. I think it was known as Global Defense Force over in Europe, if I remember correctly. And this is a port of the PlayStation 2 game. And I reviewed this for Robert Desert Eagle Allen over at tech-gaming.com. God, close to a decade ago. And I can't remember what score I gave it, probably somewhere in the 7 to 8 range, somewhere in that neck of the woods. And, it's a little bit of a step back if you've, played like EDF 2017, which I think is probably the best Earth Defense Force game overall. I love them all for different reasons. I've put 250 hours into EDF 2025 on the PS3. But yeah, this one is, it's not bad. It's definitely perfectly fine introduction to the EDF style. You got bugs everywhere. You have crazy UFOs flying in the skies, and I think giant monsters here and there. I mean, it's everything that makes EDF good. It's maybe not the strongest entry in the series, but definitely well worth playing. And it's a perfect fit for the Vita, to be honest. Just because the missions, they can last a couple of minutes, unless you really drag it out, like I sometimes do when I'm farming for weapons or health or whatever. But yeah, there's also EDF portable for or EDF 2017 portable, which I think I also reviewed for Tech-Gaming now that I think about it. But that's another great game to check out as well. I don't think it's called EDF3 Portable. I think it's EDF 2017 Portable. But 2017 was the first one that we got in the US. It was a cult classic on the Xbox 360, my introduction to the series, and one of the best video games I've ever played. Just one of my favorite games of that era. God, I want to say I put like 210 hours, 220 hours or so trying to get all the weapons in order to 1000 gamer score that that thing. And it was worth it. I got it done. Man, that was a pain in the ass though, I'll tell you that. But over in Japan, they have ports, I think, for EDF 2, 3, and 4.1 for the Switch. And we never got them over here. Not digitally, not physically, nothing. And, I don't think that they are on the same level as like the Xbox 360 versions. I think they're a little bit behind that, or maybe not quite as good as the obviously not as good as the PlayStation 4 version of like EDF 4.1, which granted, cheesy visuals, but it does look halfway decent when you're up close, and some of the character models have like nice effects on them, shininess and stuff like that. But those are some games I've been meaning to pick up, but just haven't gotten around to. Just too much going on. Too many games, dude. Too many games. But quite frankly, for this week, that is just the right amount of games, because that is an end to pickups and impressions. Not a very productive week as far as game collecting goes. But nonetheless, quality over quantity. Before we move on to collecting news, though, we are going to take a brief look at what has hit the Patreon this week. And quite frankly, not a lot of content, because I've been pretty busy with other things at the moment. But I've also been testing some stuff out for my setup. But I did have a post up about the end of PlayStation VR 2 support begins as Walmart starts clearancing out the headset. So I noticed some clearance stickers on the PS VR 2 at Walmart, and apparently back in February they announced a quote-unquote great new price for the PlayStation VR 2, and essentially it's a price drop. And, in this case, it's more of a clearance disguised as a price drop. They can put the PR spin on it all they want, but Walmart said the quiet part out loud. This is a clearance. And when stores start clearing out, first-party hardware like this, and Sony has hardly any, if any, first-party titles coming to PSVR 2, the writing's on the wall. It's the next Vita. There's plenty of third-party support still going for it. It's a great headset. I tried it. I had some issues with the one particular headset that I bought, but overall the tech's fantastic. It just, there isn't that much of a reason to use it. Now, granted, there is a PC adapter, so there's like a whole world of stuff that you can play VR-wise on PC. But when you buy a PlayStation VR 2, you want the PlayStation experience in VR. And Gran Turismo 7 was phenomenal. But what else is there? There's the Horizon, what is it called? The Mountain or something like that. And apparently that was kind of like a glorified tech demo from what I've heard. And not too much support beyond that. I think My First Gran Turismo was another one. And I can't remember the last one. It wasn't one I've heard of or played or paid attention to or anything. But, headsets live and die by that first-party support. It's just like a regular console. Third-party support is great and all, but, Vita told us that, there's only so long the support can last if the first-party software isn't there. It's like Sony shipped it and scaled back their their support for it when it underperformed, and it happened again with PSVR 2. You know? And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the tech. It's great tech. But, you know, I mean, when you're talking about a $400 headset, because it's now down to $400, bundled version, non-bundled version, it's $400, $50 less than the Switch 2. Now, what do you think is a better use of the money? $400 for a VR headset that has practically no first-party support on the horizon, going to entirely live and die by third-party support, or buying a $60 dongle that allows you to use it on PCs, or putting $50 more to it and getting a Switch 2 that has its whole life ahead of it and probably more first-party titles announced for it than the PSVR 2 got in its entire lifespan. Pretty easy decision. I mean, it is what it is. The clearance is not good news. It's the end for PSVR 2. It's just, it's just a matter of when. Once it starts disappearing from stores and, these yellow clearance stickers are hitting it, I mean, the writing's on the wall. It's dead. It's dead. But as far as the future of the channel goes, the next episode of Gameplay Sessions is looking like it's going to be Flight Sim 2024, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Because I've been experimenting with a camera that will allow me to kind of show off the flight control experience, because I use a Thrustmaster TCA Boeing flight yoke and throttle quadrant. And this thing, I mean, you could probably, throw it out a window and do more damage to the ground than it. The thing is built like a tank, and it is such a neat experience to play Flight Sim with it. It's, it's so immersive that it's like when you sit down, you start flying with it, it's like you don't want to stop. It's like you just kind of feel like that hook kind of enter your cheek all over again. But, I'm going to do some configuration stuff. I need to make some changes. It's like by default, and I'm not sure if this is like how it is in real planes or not, but it's like you press the right rudder pedal forward when you want to turn right, and left when you want to go left, and it feels like it's the exact opposite of how it should be. It's like when you're pushing one leg forward and the other leg back, it's like you feel like it's going to, turn the plane in the direction that, the foot going back, or the side of the rudder pedals that that the foot that's going back is on. It's like if you move the left foot down, right foot forward, you feel like that's going to steer the plane left because you're twisting it to the left. But yeah, there's a bunch of settings I can tweak to accommodate that. But that's one problem I've had when I've been doing some test recordings with it. But once I get that fully configured, I'll probably do that as a future episode of Gameplay Sessions. I was going to do Lunar. Doesn't really lend itself to the gameplay session style, because it's mostly just running around, random battle, running around, random battle, running around, random battle. It's like, it's okay if you're just showing off like a couple of minutes of it, but when you get into some of the longer sit-down sessions, it's just not enough real action, Nothing really all that, compelling to show off. It's more of a... It's more of an immersive experience when you are just actually sitting down and playing it yourself. But yeah, that's the plan for an upcoming episode of Gameplay Sessions is Flight Sim. I'm not sure if I'll have that ready this week or not. I might do something else in the meantime, since configuring Flight Sim is going to take hours to get everything right. And yeah, I don't know about that one. That might be more of a gradual thing that I'm building to. But one neat feature that I discovered while I was, getting everything set up is, the Xbox headset. I have the official Xbox Series X and S headset, and I guess I shouldn't say discovered. It's more like rediscovered. But basically, I turned on the headset. I was using that to stream the audio from my Xbox um, straight to my ears. But I was also able to pair it up with my Mac and use the microphone of the headset to record the audio for the test recording I did in OBS for gameplay sessions, and still have the audio stream into the headset. It's basically you can dual pair the headset to like your phone or your laptop or whatever, in addition to using it on your Xbox at the same time. It's crazy as hell. It doesn't always work right, but when it does work, and it has worked in the gameplay sessions, test recordings I did, it is a pretty damned intuitive experience. It's like there's just it I mean, because one of the problems I had was getting the microphone over to where I'm recording. It's like I have my main setup that some of you may have seen, and just to the right of it, I have another TV setup with my flight yoke and stuff like that. And getting my microphone, which is a snowball mic, over to where I have the yoke, it's yeah, it's a little too far away because I sounded I sounded tiny in some of the earlier recordings. So using the headset has just been great. The mic goes straight into OBS. I can actually hear some of the audio when I'm done recording too. From my Mac as well. It's like that dual pairing stuff. It's one of the neatest features of that headset, and it's actually a really comfortable headset too, to be honest. Probably one of the best first party headset offerings I've ever used, if not the best. I really like it. It's actually worth the money. And I know it's not like the cheapest thing in the world, but if you can get it for around 50 or 60 bucks, it's actually worth it. But yeah, that's the current state of gameplay sessions. I will have something else out, probably, most likely, before I get to the flight sim episode, but that's what I'm building to. But moving on, it's time for collecting news. And the big story of collecting news this week is that Switch 2 pre-orders open, and it was sheer insanity. To the surprise of absolutely nobody. But basically, the pre-orders opened at Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, all at pretty much the same time, maybe a few minutes apart. And Target was a clusterfuck. I managed to get the Switch 2 into the cart. I just could not get through the checkout process to save my soul. Kept getting errors, and I'd have to re-enter info, and it just was absolutely insane trying to get anything accomplished at Target. I ultimately ended up getting getting a pre-order in on the Switch 2 camera. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that or not. I'm not sure how often I'd actually use it. But, in spite of my complaining about the price, I went ahead with the Switch 2 pre-order, and it's kind of like a calculated risk or a gamble, if you will, because I figure Switch 2 seems to be insanely popular. It's like there's like predictions it could be the biggest console launch of all time. I definitely think that's a realistic possibility. But with everything going on with the tariffs and stuff like that, I felt like, okay, Nintendo's been getting as many of the Switch 2s into the US as possible. I should probably jump on it sooner rather than later, just in case the tariff stuff drags out. longer than I'm hoping, and stock becomes unavailable. So I went ahead, did my best to get a Switch to pre-order, and thankfully I did. I had a huge a huge command center set up on the dining room table. I had my laptop in the middle and like two tablets, one on each side, and my cell phone on top of it. Had like three windows open on the laptop. Best Buy open on one tablet, Target or Walmart open on the other. Yeah, maybe Target was on my phone. Since I was having so much trouble trying to check out, I tried on my phone instead. No luck there, aside from the camera, like I mentioned. But the process for it was pretty simple. Just, you get in a line, you get in a queue on Walmart, you get in a queue on Best Buy, and you're pretty much just sitting there waiting for the opportunity to add it to the cart. And I did have one instance where Walmart did, did open up for me, and I was able to get to the window where I could click add to cart, and I kept getting an error, and the timer on it, because they did give you like a certain window of opportunity to add it to the cart before they just cycle you off and move on to somebody else. And I had like a 10-minute window of opportunity to add it to the cart. Kept getting errors, wasn't able to add it to the cart that time. I ended up getting I ended up getting through the line on either I think it was my laptop actually. It's like I was in line in several different places all at once, and I did get a pre-order in at Walmart. And I think I'm trying to remember if it was the bundle or the regular console. Basically, I jumped on whatever I could get, and basically, my approach to this has been, I got in a couple of different pre-orders. I think my mom ended up getting one in at Walmart as well, and then I was able to get I can't remember if it was a non-bundle pre-order at Best Buy and then a bundle pre-order at Best Buy or what. But basically, I kept multiple options. I'm keeping multiple options open just in case something falls through or something gets canceled, because a lot of people got an order in, then they got canceled. And, essentially once it's kind of firm, then I'm just going to let some of the other ones go. I'm not going to scalp it. Not going to scalp it. When you're in a situation like this, you just have to try to keep your options open. You never know if something's going to get canceled. And, having a couple of pre-orders in, is just kind of like a little bit of breathing room with it. And, once everything, kind of starts falling into place with whatever pre-order ends up being my main pre-order, fantastic. And the other ones, it takes like 2 clicks to cancel an item. So yeah, that won't be a big deal. But the important thing was just making sure you had something and you had a backup. And I was able to do that. Hopefully a lot of you were as well. And if not, keep your eyes peeled. You might have a couple of pre-orders opening up on launch day. But apparently, from what I've heard, pre-ordering in store, at GameStop was pretty easy. And I thought I heard somebody say that they're expecting like around 80 systems, pre-orders and otherwise at GameStop on launch day. So there's a good window of opportunity to get a Switch 2 if you want it. It's just like I said, it's a calculated risk. It's like, I don't know how long the tariff stuff is going to last. I don't know if supply is going to dry up before before the tariff stuff gets sorted out to Nintendo's satisfaction. So it's like, pretty much have to. It's either that or potentially run the risk of, this being another PlayStation 5 scenario where, you just can't get your hands on it for, what, 2 years? You didn't, I mean, how long did it take to be able to walk into a store and see unsold PlayStation 5s sitting around? Like it was at least 2 years, wasn't it? About 2 years, something like that. And, with everything being what it is, I felt like it was an easy decision, in spite of the fact that I'm not thrilled about the price. I'm not thrilled with the prices of anything. I'm not thrilled with the game keycard stuff. But yeah, I just felt like it's, you have to kind of think long term with it, and long term is, there's a lot of question marks about when the tariff stuff is going to get sorted out. So, if I want it, pretty much had to get it right now. And in addition to getting some pre-orders in different stores, for the system itself, I also did pre-order a couple of games. I pre-ordered the physical version of Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition or whatever, because that is actually a game card that has the real game on it. It's not one of the game keycard stuff. I finally looked into those. And honestly, it's just, it sucks, dude. It's like, okay, I got a pre-order in on Cyberpunk. I got a pre-order in for Street Fighter 6. Year 1 and 2 edition? And I went digital with that because the physical version is one of the game key cards. And essentially, there's nothing on the game card besides I don't know, an activation key or whatever, that allows you to download and play the digital version of the game. And I figure if that's all that's on there, I might as well go digital, and that way I won't have to put the cartridge in every time I want to play something. I can just have it readily available. If I gotta download the data, just makes sense. Just streamline the process. And I actually ended up pre-ordering Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. And I was really looking forward to this one too. And when I pre-ordered at Best Buy, they hadn't put the box art up for the game yet. And then the next morning, I think it was on Amazon, and I came across the box art looking at Switch 2 stuff in there. And I saw that was a game key card, and it's like, oh, well, fuck that. What's the point? So I canceled the pre-order I got in on that. And I guess I'll probably pick it up digitally eventually. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it on day one or not. If I get Cyberpunk, that's probably going to keep me pretty busy in addition to Mario Kart World and Street Fighter. I'm trying not to go like any more over the top with this than I can avoid, but I also want to have, a decent variety of stuff to play for the time being. But the game key cards, they're just everywhere. And over in Japan, it's like almost every third-party title physically for Switch 2 is a game key card. It's not an actual game data is on the cartridge card. I think Cyberpunk is over there too. So, I mean, hats off to what is it? I can't. I completely spaced on the name of the developer. I keep wanting to say Red Faction. Anyways, I'm sure I'll think about it at like 3:00 in the morning. But CD Projekt Red. I think that's it. Something like that. But it's. I felt like, if they're making the effort to put the actual full game on the cartridge when everybody else is cheaping out and just doing the game key card stuff, then from my perspective, that's worth the money. That's worth supporting. That's worth buying physically. And And you know, they made the right decision, so I decided to support them. And I'm looking forward to the game. Of course, it's got another, another just a little over a month, I guess. God, God, we're already. I mean, already that launch day has just really gotten close, you know. But I mean, we're already a matter of weeks away. So, yeah, it's God, it's just yeah, it's hard to believe it's already that close. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Uh, I know that one title that did get announced over the last few days is Madden 26. Got officially confirmed. No EA College Football 26 on Switch this year, but I figure they're doing Madden this year. They'll probably do EA College Football next year if it does well. And quite frankly, I have no reason to believe that that game is not going to do well. Portable Madden, portable console quality Madden. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much a no-brainer for like tailgating sessions or whatnot. So that's going to be really popular. I think that's going to be one of the biggest selling Switch games or Switch 2 games of the first year, 2025. And I'm hoping it's going to be good. I think it probably will be. But yeah, physical release for it, and it's a game key card too. It's like the number of publishers that are actually putting the game data on the game cartridge is just glaringly small. I can't stand it. You know, I mean, I know digital is the future. It's where the industry is heading. I understand that. Intellectually, I understand that. But as a physical game collector, I like having that experience of being able to toss a cartridge in something and knowing that the game is there and waiting for me. I mean, I can grab my copy of Super Mario World from 1991 or 2 or whenever I got it, and it still works. It's still there, and it's still the same experience that I've always had with it. Essentially, it's preservation. It is keeping the software, available when, you never know when a store is going to close. I mean, look at the Xbox 360. Everybody thought I was crazy that the 360 store would close eventually, and it did. It happens. It's one of those things that comes from time. Eventually something's not going to be as profitable as it once was, and they're going to flick the servers off. It's just a matter of when, not if. And physical game cartridges help to preserve software that might otherwise get lost to the hands of time. It's important. It's vital. But, and, I know pirates do that, piracy, all that jazz. It's not my thing. It's just unsavory to me. But at the same point, they're doing preservation work, so in that regard, yeah, preservation I can understand. Piracy, not so much. But moving on, we have some rather controversial shit going on with the new Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. So essentially, this time around, when they finally brought back Fatal Fury, they added 2 guest characters. One being legendary soccer/football player Ronaldo, and the other being a DJ named Salvatore Ganacci, something like that. And basically, the big deal with this is that there was some sort of a controversy about Ganacci having like an NDA with some woman, or allegedly, or something like that. And I'm not sure if it was like inappropriate contact, or you know anyways, whatever the situation actually is, it felt like the Vince McMahon stuff, if you heard or kept up with that. I mean, I've kept up with Vince because I follow wrestling anyways, but the Ganacci stuff, it's like, truth be told, until he was announced for this game, I hadn't even heard of him. And I was watching a stream of Maximilian Dude playing as him. And, I mean, honestly, as a character, Ganacci looks really good. He's like... He's like a self-aware joke character or something like that. I mean, he's ridiculous, but he looks like they put a lot of effort into it. Ronaldo, not so much. He basically has a pretty much still standing animation. Doesn't have an arcade mode. Not available for color change mode, because I think you can customize the outfits and stuff like that. So it's like, seems like there's like practically no effort put into Ronaldo whatsoever. But Ganacci is like on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like they put so much into him that he's actually looks like a fun character to play as. Might be kind of tough to learn, but at the very least, the attention to detail is there, and he seems like a pretty fun character, at least to watch. And, I said as much on Bluesky. I said, something about watching Maximilian play as Ganacci, and, I don't know much of anything about him, but, he, looks like a really fun character to play as. And, basically, because of the controversy with the NDAs or whatever with Ganacci, then me not, silly me forgetting to do a background check on a playable character in a fighting game. I got some snide-ass remark from some user on Bluesky who said, "So I'm hearing that a real-life guy in the roster who paid a woman hundreds of thousands of dollars in exchange for her legally binding silence with an NDA barring her from discussing the terms and reasons for that payment doesn't bother you."
You know what I hear? I hear the sound of you shutting the fuck up.
Thank you, Satsuki. I mean, who writes a sentence like that to begin with? I mean, that does not strike me as like a mentally well individual to write something like that, with no punctuation or capitalization except for NDA. I mean, honestly, first of all, go fuck yourself. I just because I see somebody in a video game who's a guest character and I think he looks neat does not mean I endorse every single life choice that they have ever made. Doesn't mean I need to do research into every single life choice he has ever made. Guess what? You play a sports game, how many hundreds of players are in there? Pick any sports game out there. Madden, NBA, MLB, WWE, NHL. I mean, you just FIFA or EAFC. I mean, they have what, 12,000 players or something like that? Somewhere in that neck of the woods? I mean, inevitably, you're going to play as a character or play as a real-life person in a video game whose said or done stuff that you're not going to agree with. And if you avoid playing the game because of anything that they have said or done, you're not going to be left with much of anything left to play. Because these games these days, they're made by teams of hundreds of people. I mean, look at how long the credits are. There's going to be people out there that have, hit their wives, cheated on their girlfriends. I mean, you name it, drunk, driven drunk. You never know. Just because you enjoy work featuring them does not mean you endorse every single life choice they've ever made. Nor should you have to in order to enjoy a video game. You shouldn't have to even think like this. The fact of the matter is, and the guy that posted this, you could tell from the replies that he was doing, that he was basically searching the term Fatal Fury, or, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, whatever, just to find people to antagonize and get preachy about. Do something better with your fucking time. I mean, honest to God, if all you do is spend your time combing social media, looking for people to hate on or take a holier-than-thou stance, over, I mean, go fuck yourself. Better yet, quit social media, go out and touch some fucking grass. Some actual fucking grass. Get a life. I mean, good Lord. It's just, it's crazy how we have gotten, where it's like, all people want to do is find a reason to bitch. I don't like to find a reason to bitch. I prefer to focus on the positive aspects. Like with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. It looks like a fucking fun game. I don't care about every single decision that every single person involved has ever made. I can't change it. I can't fix it. Why should I obsess on it? I don't agree with, how the new owners of SNK apparently have, I'm not going to allege anything, but apparently there's definitely some controversial claims that have been made about them, and people are skipping the game over that too. I mean, if you want to skip the game over the owner of SNK now, or somebody on the roster, that's fine. That's your choice. That's your right. Don't pester me about it if I think the game looks good. Don't harass, complete strangers on the internet at, 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, because they thought the game looked good. If that's what your life has devolved to, I pity you. I think it's pathetic. I've said it before in previous episodes, I'll say it here again. You gotta pick your battles. And, getting upset at somebody else enjoying a video game that you morally, dislike for whatever reason, I mean, it's stupid. It's literally stupid. There's got to be a better use of your time. God knows there's a better use of my time than arguing with you on the internet, that are getting upset with me for saying a character looked good. Moving on, the new skate game that everybody has been looking forward to, well, unfortunately, it's going to be online only. And, I think I mentioned something about the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 being being online only or saying online only on the box. I think I might have said something about that on social media. But yeah, I mean, in this case, it's basically purely a design choice from developer Full Circle, who said on their blog, the game and city are designed to be a living, breathing, massively multiplayer skateboarding sandbox that is always online and always evolving. You'll see bigger things evolve, like changes to the city over time, as well as smaller things like live events and other in-game activities. They also said to deliver on its vision of a skateboarding world, the game will always require a live connection. You know, I mean, I can understand having a vision where the game is just constantly active and everybody's in there and skateboarding and creating a sense of community and stuff like that. I mean, I know that's an admirable goal, but I'm not paying for that. I've paid for maybe two, off the top of my head, two online only games. Diablo 4 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And I'll be honest with you, haven't had great experiences. You know, it's like with Flight Sim, I was, doing the test recordings this week. I mean, I was getting stutters like crazy when I was just trying to, land the plane or taxi over to the airport from the runway. I mean, it's, online only is not necessarily ideal. And if you are going that route, I mean, you better not be asking much for it, because I'm not going to want to give you very much. It takes something exceptional for me to even consider opening my wallet for something that is online only. And, I love skate. I love skateboarding games. I grew up with Tony Hawk. But, I'd be just as happy sticking with Tony Hawk 3+4 and doing whatever is online required for those. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, if only part of the game is going to be on the disc and then you have to download the rest. I think it was like that with the first one. But however that ends up sorting itself out, it's it's one of those things where it's like I'm more willing to forgive Tony Hawk given the style and the track record of the franchise than I am to kind of jump into an open world, massively multiplayer skateboarding game that might also require me to open my wallet to play it. And I don't know if it's going to be a free-to-play game or not. I don't know that that's been confirmed. At least I haven't heard it, if it has. But, they've got to nail that one right out of the gate, or it's not gonna live very long, unfortunately. That just seems to be how a lot of online-only games are. Now it's time to open up the community mailbag, and Obi-Wan Jabroni asks NFL draft opinions. So I haven't watched a ton of the draft. I've had it on for a few minutes here and there. The one thing I will say, as far as a draft opinion, is that Seth Rollins from WWE absolutely stole the fucking show doing his draft pick announcement for the Chicago Bears. He comes out, and of course he has a Chicago Bears officially licensed NFL meets WWE championship belt, because they sell these for several different sports. I think they have one for MLB, or, one's for every MLB team, one's for all the NFL teams. And of course, he comes out with the Chicago Bears one. And the Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin crowd is just booing the shit out of him. I'm not sure if it's because of him siding with Paul Heyman as much as it was him coming out with the Bears, the Bears belt. But they're booing the shit out of him, and he's giving it right back to him. And of course, he's going full on WWE superstar, cutting a promo on them. And it was just fucking hilarious. Even if you don't watch the NFL draft, look up Seth Rollins doing that pick. I think it was like 46th pick or something like that. It's fucking hilarious. He looks like he's having a ball. He's like trolling Green Bay. I can't remember who the Bears quarterback is. I think he said something about him being undefeated at Lambeau Field, and of course the crowd starts booing, booing like crazy again. I mean, it's fun shit. You know, there's something special about the WWE style of entertainment. You know, it's art meets life, it's life meets art, and they're just intertwined together so well that you can't necessarily separate one from the other. There's just something special about it. But yeah, I mean that has basically been my big takeaway from this year's draft. Probably going to toss that on once I'm done recording. But looking forward to seeing how the NFL season evolves. Hopefully the Tennessee Titans get somebody decent. God knows they need it. Good Lord. You know, I think a lot of my dissatisfaction with sports games sometimes, you know, just revolves around the fact that most of my sports teams suck. They absolutely suck. I mean, like, my Baltimore Orioles, it's like, they're what, like 10 and 14, 10 and 15, something like that. And like going into the season, it's like they thought, you know, the prediction was, oh, they're going to be potential playoff contenders. They're not. Not right now. This version of the Orioles team, it's not going to fucking hit the playoffs. Get your shit together, Baltimore. Get your shit together. Gotta breathe. Gotta breathe. Gotta breathe. Okay. So moving on. Nox7 asks, what's your favorite game code / cheat of all time? And there's two that come to mind. The first of which I think was for the original Twisted Metal, and I hope I'm remembering this correctly because I haven't used it in God knows how long. But they'd have the stage select in Twisted Metal 1, and you could select the Suburbia stage with the code, I think it was X square triangle triangle triangle. I think that's what it was. And I used that code so many times because I loved driving around this big stage. It was like the biggest stage in the game. But this, like, you know, this residential area, and of course you had, like, I don't know what they're called because I'm not in California, but basically kind of like, maybe like aqueducts or whatever, the, you know, waterways or something like that, you know, the concrete, you know, dried out waterways to battle in and stuff like that. And because that stage was so big, it was so much fun to just kind of like free roam and drive around. And this was back in a time when we really didn't have a lot of like truly free roaming, you know, driving games, racing games. Around that time, well, a couple of years later, I guess now that I think about it, we got like the first Driver game, and that was good. I love Driver 2, that was even better. Because that had like a massive Chicago that you could drive around in, Las Vegas, I think, Rio de Janeiro, and each location had like their own different styles of cars that you could carjack. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much it for like open world kind of driving experiences around that particular time. At least off the top of my head, the ones I came across, and I mean, I know there was Grand Theft Auto, but it was top down. It wasn't the same, you know. It's not, you know, it just there was something missing with it. Even if that world was pretty big and open, there was just, you know, an element to it that was missing. I think, you know, with Driver and, you know, Twisted Metal, just having that, you know, 3D, you know, kind of ground level style camera and stuff like that. I think that made a lot of a difference. But yeah, I used to use that code all the time to just to roam around there, and I had a blast doing it. I want to say that was like the second to last stage too, so it was pretty close to the end of the game. So it's like once you finish that up, it's like, oh, you're on to, I think was it like a high rise or something? Like you're, you know, driving on building tops? I think, when in the lead up to the battle with Minion. Oh, shit. Now I want to play Twisted Metal. But the only other code that really came to mind off the top of my head, and this is like a favorite from a pure convenience standpoint, was that Fire Pro Wrestling D on the Sega Dreamcast had like an easy access code where you can unlock all of the hidden wrestlers without having to beat all of the different, gauntlet style modes and challenges and stuff like that. I forget what they're called. It's been some time since I played that game. But, basically you'd be on the main menu and you'd have to hit, I think it's like the Y button, L and R at the same time. And you had to get the timing like super, super precise or it wouldn't work. So it's like you had to go like, go in, check the roster in the exhibition mode. I was like, oh yeah, there, everybody's unlocked. Okay, perfect. And then you could go into the memory card mode and save everything and basically keep the roster unlocked. But yeah, that one was super convenient. Love that. Love Fire Pro D. Sometime that's going to get a gameplay sessions episode. I'm not sure when, but it totally deserves it. It's a fucking phenomenal game. One of the best games on the Dreamcast. One of the best wrestling games of all time. No doubt about it. I don't know. It might be better than No Mercy. Someday I'm going to have to answer that question. But not today. But that will do it for this episode. Thank you for listening. And be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform of choice. FOMO's a MOFO is available in podcast form on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. It's pretty much everywhere. And if you get the opportunity, please give the show a like. Maybe give it a 5-star review someplace like Apple Podcasts. That would help with the visibility. Because let me tell you, it's the biggest challenge with everything I'm doing is just getting seen, getting followers, getting subscribers. It's such a tremendous challenge. And you can also stick with me on Twitter at FOMOSAMOFO or my personal account on Bluesky at blueswim.bsky.social. Well, that will do it for this episode. I hope you all have a great week and happy collecting, everyone. This has been BlueSwim. Take care.